My name is Suzanne Smith, and today I want to bring up an important topic that relates to a successful sales career: communication. Communicating both verbally and physically is the basis of a career in sales. If you are lacking in your communication skills, then your sales numbers are most likely lacking too. Developing good, high-quality communication skills can be done with ease as long as you know where to start, what to focus on, and where to improve. According to blog.hubspot.com, there are 15 communication skills that are crucial to success. The first one is pay full attention. Be dedicated to the meeting, make your prospect repeat what things they've already told you, and be aware. Number 2, practice active listening. Truly listen to the prospect, give feedback, confirm you've heard them correctly, and ask follow-up questions. Number 3, read body language. Body language often reveals true intentions or meaning, so be aware. Number 4, master the nuance of voice tones. This relates to voice pitch, volume, speed, and word choice. Number 5, be empathetic. Connect with a prospect and understand their point of view. Number 6, understand what's not being said. Prospects don't tell the entire truth, so understand what their motive is for not being truthful. Number 7, speak in specifics. Be as specific as you can so the prospect can fully understand you. Number 8, be a subject matter expert. You will never be trusted if prospects don't feel you really understand their business or your own service or product. Number 9, be genuinely curious. Good communicators are naturally curious about the conversation at hand, but don't be too curious. Know where to draw the line. Number 10, don't act like you know everything, and know what you don't know. Be aware of gaps in your knowledge and ask to help fill them in. Honesty is highly respected. Number 11, assume good intent. Don't jump to conclusions about your prospect. Keep an open mind so you aren't subconsciously treating your prospect with hostility. Number 12, always be honest. Be upfront with what you don't know so that they do believe you when you are talking about something you do know. This goes hand in hand with number 10. Number 13, don't make assumptions. Don't assume all clients are the same. Treat each of them differently and how they wish to be treated. Number 14, be persistent, not pestering. If you haven't received a response to a follow-up message, try a different approach and re-engage them in a new conversation. And last but not least, number 15, be comfortable with silence. Pausing for around 3 to 5 seconds before speaking allows the prospect to speak up about an important thought or question they may have. Today, I do want to go a little more into depth about 3 of the 5 communication skills that I just listed. The 3 that I'm going to talk about, I feel, are very important to have as a salesperson and as a person in general. So the first one is paying full attention. This is a great way to immediately build rapport and receive a prospect's undivided attention because you have decided that they are the most important thing to them at the moment in time. According to the Center for Client Retention, there are 8 suggestions to improve on giving your prospect full attention. The first one is determining your customer's emotional state. It is critical to listen to what they are saying, but determine what their current emotion is too. Number 2, active listening. We talked about this already. It's reiterating what the above determined emotion is, which can help build trust in a helpful way to build a good connection. Number 3, uncover the story. Every purchase has a story, so find out why the prospect is interested in purchasing your item. Number 4, don't make customers wait. Waiting on lines or on hold or getting your voicemail is very off-putting. Put your customers first. Pick up the phone and answer whatever questions they have to offer. Number 5, listen patiently. The most sincere form of respect is actually listening to what someone has to say. Audrey McLaughlin once stated, when you listen, it's amazing what you can learn. When you act on what you've learned, it's amazing what you can change. Number 6, focus on the customer's needs. Every prospect is a person with their own needs to discover, and uncovering those needs is critical. Number 7, communicate through preferred channels. If they prefer texting, then text them. If they like phone calls, then call them. Using their preferred channel means you truly understand them. And finally, number 8, obtain customer feedback. Using feedback as a way to improve on your personal self or a company is important because prospects feel that their feedback is actually valuable. All right, the second point I want to go farther into is practicing active listening. Active listening goes hand in hand with paying full attention. And according to the Center for Creative Leadership, the ability to listen effectively is essential to becoming a better listener, but only a few leaders truly know how to do it. There are 6 skills associated with it. Number 1, pay attention. Be aware of your frame of mind and body language so you can be focused on the moment and operate from a place of respect. Number 2, withhold judgment. Be open-minded, open to new ideas, perspectives, and even possibilities so that you can listen intently. Number 3, reflect. Learn to mirror others' information and emotions by paraphrasing key points, and never assume that the other person knows what you have heard of them. Number 4, clarify. Ask questions about anything you were unclear of, because probing questions draw people out and encourage new ideas. Number 5, summarize. Restate key themes and topics to confirm and solidify your grasp on the other person's point of view. Number 6, share. Once you have gained a clear understanding of the other person, you can then begin to introduce your feelings, ideas, and suggestions to help better the conversation. And the last point I want to dig deeper into is reading body language and controlling your own. For this point, I'm going to let somebody else do the talking. This is Lynn Franklin. She did a TEDx talk titled Reading Minds Through Body Language. It was published on December 19th, 2017. And for this part of the video, I chose a snippet. And she's going to talk about the three types of body language that someone can notice in a person. So here she is with that.
You right now. And that means I'm going to bring out our first body language model, James. Thank you, James. James represents 75% of the world. You didn't know this about James, but James is a looker. What that means is that James's brain thinks in pictures and images. And here's how we can tell that James is a looker from his body language. First thing, he stands up tall, he has good posture. Second, he's dressed well because appearance is important to lookers. The next thing you'll notice about James is that he holds a little stress in his shoulders. Lift up your shoulders a little bit. Yeah, holds his stress there. Next thing, you'll notice he has wrinkles in his forehead because James looks up when he remembers something he has seen, and he looks up more often than most of us do. Next thing you'll notice about James is that he has thin lips. Suck them in. And this is a chicken and egg thing. We're not quite sure why lookers have thin lips, but most of them do. And the other thing about lookers is they give you lots of eye contact. Look at them, look at them, look at them. All of them. Look at all of them. Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Okay, now that you know that James is a looker, here are the 2 things you do to build rapport with him. The first is that you give him lots of eye contact because he literally believes if you do not look at him, you are not paying attention to him and you are ignoring him. The second thing you do with lookers is you give them words that have a visual component to it. I see what you mean, or look at this, or let's picture working together this way. So you use the type of language that is going on in James's brain. Those are lookers, 75% of people in the world. Our next body language model is Marge. And Marge represents 20% of the people in the world. Marge is a listener. What this means is that Marge's brain thinks in words and sounds. And this is the body language that you will see in a listener. First, Marge not as well dressed as James because appearance is not as important to her. Sorry, Marge. Next, Marge has a tendency to look down and to the left because that's where you look when you're remembering something you have heard. Next thing you'll notice about Marge is that a lot of times she'll put her head in her hand. It's called telephone posture. Other things you'll notice about Marge is that she has a tendency to mumble to herself. Go ahead, mumble. And it's not that she's crazy. It's that she thinks in words and sounds, so she's really literally talking to herself. Another thing you notice about Marge, yep, she's the pen clicker and the banger on the pen on the table. These are listeners, 20% of the people in the world. Thanks, Marge.
Thank you.
You want to appeal to listeners, you do two things. First thing, you do not give them lots of eye contact, it freaks them out. That's exactly what was going on with that corporate controller. So what you do is that when they're speaking, you look at them and then you look away. And when you're speaking, you look at them and then look away. The second thing you do with listeners is that you use words that are auditory. That sounds good to me. Or let's talk this over. That's the type of language their brain uses, so you're using that to appeal with them. Listeners, 20% of the people in the world. And our final body language model is Marina. And Marina represents 5% of the people in the world. Give her a round of applause. Marina is a toucher. Not what you think. What that means is that Marina's brain thinks in feelings and tactily, And here's the kind of body language you will see in a toucher. First thing, and the biggest tell on touchers, is whether or not they've ever met you before in their lives. They are ready to hug you. Second thing you'll notice about touchers is that they are dressed for comfort rather than style. Next thing is that they have full lips. Give them big lips. Same thing. I know. More touchers have full lips. Next thing you'll notice about touchers is that they have a tendency to lean in because they're trying to decrease the amount of physical space between you and them and build rapport that way. Touchers also have a tendency to reach out and touch your arm when they're in conversation with you. And touchers also have a tendency to look down because that's where you look when you're remembering something you have felt. Thanks, Marina. All right, you want to build rapport with touchers, 5% of the people in the world? Here are the two things you do. If you feel comfortable, let them touch you. Appropriately, please. But if you don't feel comfortable, because a lot of us, if you've never met somebody before and they're ready to give you a bear hug, the last thing you want to do is go, because we've all done that and it does not build rapport. So if a toucher is coming at you and you don't feel comfortable, stick your hand out. Give these people a point of contact with you. That's what they're looking for. The second thing you do with touchers is you use language that either has a feeling to it or is tactile. So I want to hear how you're feeling about this. Let's get in touch. Reach out and tell me what you think. That's the kind of language that appeals to touchers, people who process information in feelings and tactily. So I'm going to read your mind again, and you're probably thinking, so which one of these three?
So I really think Lynn Franklin does a great job on giving insight on how to read body language. And maybe you can decide how you personally are. If you're a looker or a thinker or a feeler, you can understand your own body language so that you can understand somebody else's. So with that, that's all I have for you. I hope you understand a little bit more about communication skills in sales careers, and I hope it benefits you later on in your life. Thank you.